Okay, so I'm Aubrey, and this is Miss Doe, and we're gonna do a veterans interview. Um, so the first question is, how did you stay in touch with your family while you were in service?
When I left for training, like basic training, I would write my friends and family letters. Whenever I found free time, I would write handwritten notes and letters, and then every few days or every week, I would send a bunch out, and then we would correspond back and forth through letters.
Cool. Did you feel a lot of stress and pressure when you were in service?
Yes. During training or exercises, sometimes the stress level definitely heightened. So I felt a lot of stress, getting the mission done or whatever tasks I need to get done.
What branch of the military were you in?
So I enlisted in the Army National Guard in 2015. I commissioned as an Army officer in 2018, and I still serve now. So it's coming up on almost 6 years.
Cool. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
Yes, I enlisted, so I kind of willingly sought out enlistment.
Why did you choose to enlist?
I enlisted during my senior year of high school, and I originally wanted to enlist to gain more experiences, travel a little bit, and get my education paid for. I wanted to go to college. So doing that, I got a full ride for my bachelor's.
Did you ever fight in a war? And if you did, which one was it?
I have not personally fought in a war. My mission in the Minnesota National Guard is to help state missions, whether that be any emergencies, civil disturbances, things of that nature.
What was your rank in the Army?
So I first enlisted as a private, and then I commissioned as a second lieutenant, and now I am a first lieutenant.
Did your military experience influence your view on war or the military in general much?
Yes, it has definitely changed, just with all the experiences I've had. There's a lot of challenges, and it's not all like how the movies show it off, there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make with your friends and family. Yeah, definitely.
Where did you serve?
Being in the Minnesota National Guard, I serve just here in Minnesota. But I'll be sent to different parts of the country. So I've been to different states here and there.
How did your service experiences affect your life?
How does it affect my life? Being in the Minnesota National Guard, it's, one weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Realistically, it adds up to a little bit more than that. And so I've really had to balance both a civilian life, such as working here at the school, working drills, and just balancing that lifestyle.
What was your training?
What was my what?
What was your training like?
What was my training like? So at basic training, there's 3 phases, and the first phase was very hard at first, just because there's a lot of rules and a lot of discipline that they instill into you. Kind of breaks you down to build you back up kind of mentality. And so then throughout the next phases, they give you a little bit more freedom. And yeah, it was a lot of physical stuff, a lot of mental stuff. And now when I do trainings, it's called exercises. So we train as if we were to deploy, or what we would be actually doing in theater. So it can be highly stressful as they do these simulations. So
Your education by the GI.
I did not use the GI Bill. I use federal tuition assistance, and I also have used state reimbursement. So basically, for now, with my master's, they reimburse me after I get my grades. Before, when I went to college, they gave me a scholarship in which they paid for my tuition.
Let me scroll through the list. What were some of your most memorable experiences?
Some of my most memorable experiences, gosh. Well, one that comes to mind is this past summer I went to Fort Irwin, California, and I was the officer in charge of in processing soldiers. So the first few days I was working, nonstop and in processing buses of soldiers coming into the training area, and then for their training. So I think in a few days I in-processed about 4,000 soldiers. And it's memorable just because I really got to know some of my soldiers, and it was a good time to see us working together as a team and really bonding through that. So that's one that came up to mind.
I think that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me and interviewing me. Nice to meet you, Aubrey.
You too. Bye.
Hi, I am Hope. Miss Rimstad, where was your war and branch of service?
I was a part of the United States Air Force.
Okay. What was your rank?
I attained the rank of captain.
Where did you serve?
I got to serve in San Antonio, Texas, Illinois, and North Carolina.
Where were you drafted, or did you enlist?
No, I went through college, and I went through something called the ROTC program, and that stands for the Reserve Officer Training Corps. And that's allowed me to not only go through college and get a college degree, I also went through military training while in college and attained a rank of second lieutenant when I graduated.
Where were you living at the time? I
went to school at the University of Minnesota Duluth and went through the program at the detachment up there, Detachment 420.
Why did you join?
I joined because my father joined the Navy in the 1970s, and I knew of his service, and he continued to serve not only through the Navy, but then he moved over to the Army Reserves and was very active and participated in Desert Storm and Desert Shield. And I knew what he did, and I knew that if I chose a branch of service, I could go see a lot of things and have lots of opportunities and to get to meet some really great people in my life.
Why did you pick the service branch that you joined?
I believe I mainly chose it because it was one of the two branches that they were offering at the University of Minnesota Duluth, and it was either the Air Force or the Army, and I felt the Air Force was more for me. I really enjoy airplanes and the different aspects that the Air Force did as opposed to the Army's mission. So that was kind of the appeal for me.
And do you recall your first days in service? What did it feel like?
It was very exciting. I was very fortunate that at my first duty station, I was stationed with a friend from my same detachment from the UMD, and we were in the same office together and got to learn together. And it was just an exciting opportunity being so young out of college and having a full-time job serving our country.
What about your boot camp training experiences? Do you remember your instructors?
Well, boot camp for ROTC, which we were called cadets, is a little different than the normal that people would think. We did our boot camp between our sophomore and junior year of college. And for us, I believe it was a 6-week training program. I went to Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida. And a lot of what I remember is it was very hot and humid. And one of the more memorable moments was when we had instructors that took us out on some survival work out in the swamps of Florida. The only way we could get back to a hot meal at the base was to stand in a line and take the legs off a grasshopper and eat it before we got on the bus. So I did it, and I had a hot meal. So it was a very growing experience for me at that age. So it was a lot of fun.
Which wars did you serve in?
I did not serve in any war in particular. I came in through a time where we were kind of between, if you will, between wars, I was in prior to 9/11. And so things were not calm, but there were no active wars that I was supporting. But again, our job would be to make sure that our teams are war ready. So we're always preparing for that. And it's very, very enriching in different aspects of the Air Force.
What was your job or assignment?
When I left college, I was going in as a personnel officer. So that's a lot of like accounting for people, helping them find jobs, helping them relocate, lots of different aspects of other people's careers.
Did you see combat?
I did not. No, I did not.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
Sure. Well, my first assignment was at San Antonio at Randolph Air Force Base. And I was there supporting the families of soldiers who were missing from the Korea and the Cold War. And about a month after I arrived, my immediate boss told me I could go to Hawaii for 2 weeks. And part of our mission is to learn about how the process is for when human remains came back from Vietnam or from other places in the world where we're trying to find our missing soldiers. And it was very enriching. I got to go to Camp Smith in Hawaii and to see how that operation, how we supported that operation. I can talk to families about what I see and how I can help them.
How did you stay in touch with your family, and what was the food like?
Fortunately, my family, we just stayed in touch by phone and letters. And again, having my friend there at my first duty station was very helpful. And again, you meet a lot more friends and a lot of people from around the country, serving their country, and also in different branches. So that was a lot of fun. And fortunately, I got to come home to my own apartment and eat my own food, so I didn't have to eat at the meal hall.
Did you feel pressure or stress?
No, I just felt an enormous sense of pride. It's like nothing to serve your country with people, very like-minded people in different aspects of our Air Force. And no, it's just, it was a great place to be.
Do you recall the day your service ended, and where were you?
I do. I was, it ended in the spring of 2001, and I was pregnant with our first child. And I decided that I wanted to be a mom for a while. So I stepped away from the Air Force, and we lived in North Carolina for the next almost a year until my husband was done.
Did you work or go back to school?
I actually stayed home with my children for almost 15 years, and then I came back to work, and I work here at Seven Hills.
And did you join a veterans organization?
Actually, I'm a part of the American Legion, and that's the one organization I do stay in contact with.
What did you go on to as a career after the war?
Well, I continue. So I didn't participate in any war, but I got to do different things in my career. So from the first career that I had is working with families. Then I went to a different base and did more of my personnel officer work. And then I did that sort of when I went to North Carolina as an executive officer.
And finally, how did your service and experiences affect your life?
It affected me very positively. There is so much to be learned being a part of our nation's greatest Air Force. So many people to see, so many people to meet, so many people to work with, so many things to learn. I just realized that teamwork is very important to me, and I've taken that wherever I've gone, and the value of everybody that you meet. Everybody brings something, and you should appreciate everybody. And it's just, I just bring a lot of memories too, a lot of great memories, a lot of great opportunities.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you.
You're welcome. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Hayden Farrell, and I'm interviewing my grandpa. My first question is, what's your name?
My name is George Heason, and I'm father of Miss Farrell, your principal.
My second question is, what branch in the military are you in, and how old were you?
I joined the Navy when I was 17. You could join the Naval Reserve. So then I put 2 years in reserve time, and then 2 years active duty, and then another 18 years of reserve time.
Okay, my third question is, were you ever in a war?
I served during the Vietnam War, but I was always in South America.
Okay, my fourth question is, why did you join the military?
I joined the Navy because I wanted to make a career of the Navy. I wanted to be a pilot. So I had to go to college for, first it was 2 years, then they said 4 years. So then I didn't want to be in college for 4 years. So then I went into the Navy right away.
Okay, my fifth question is, do you recall your first days in service? What did it feel like?
My first days were, I had to go to Philadelphia and wait for my orders for my ship. So then they came and I got a landing ship tank in the amphibious Navy in Little Creek, Virginia.
Okay, my sixth question is, what was your job?
I was an electrician. I was learning to be an electrician. So that takes a while. That's what I did.
Okay. Seventh question, how did you stay in touch with your family?
We would make a phone call maybe once every 6 months because a phone call was expensive and we were out at sea and you couldn't contact anybody at that time.
Okay. Question 8, did you feel pressure or stress?
Yeah, because you're living in like your bedroom with 9 other guys and it's crowded and you only got a little locker, 3x3 locker. That's, you have to live out of that. That's everything you own is in there.
Okay. Question 9, when your service ended, did you go to work or back to school?
I went to work right away.
Okay. Question 10. Was your education supported by the GI Bill?
No, but what I learned in the Navy sure helped me. It got me a job right away as an electrician, and then I continued to do that the rest of my career.
Okay. Question 11. What did you go on to do as a career after your service?
It was an electrician.
Okay. Question 12. How did your service and experiences affect your life?
Well, it totally gave me the job as electrician, which is a good job, good paying job, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed that part of the Navy.
That's all. Thanks for watching.
Okay, thank you, Hayden.
Yep.
Hello, scholars. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. Got together with some family, small group setting, some virtual, some live. I hope you had the same experience. I hope you had time to take a break and celebrate all the good things that happen in your life. Today, I kind of want to deconstruct the myth around the first Thanksgiving. A lot of stories, they become hero epics, right? Or hero stories where we insert some things that aren't necessarily true to make them a better story, right? And so the first Thanksgiving, what do you think of when you hear the first Thanksgiving? A lot of people think of an image like this. This is titled The First Thanksgiving. And you can see that we have some Pilgrims or Puritans from England, and we've got some Native Americans here, and we've got some other Europeans back here, and they're all intermixed, and they're celebrating and they're giving thanks, right? You could analyze this from a artist's viewpoint and see who's in the area of dominance and who's in the area of submission, and the triangle here and all of that. What does that tell you? But we're not going to analyze that too much today. What I want to talk to you about is kind of the myth of Thanksgiving. This first Thanksgiving probably didn't happen like this. Okay, these white settlers that came from Europe, they were very conservative Christians, and their idea of giving thanks probably would have been to give up food, a fast, right? And that would be how they celebrated it. In fact, the historians think that's probably what happened with their first Thanksgiving ceremony, is that they did a lot of praying and they did a lot of fasting. Now, so where did this story come where the Native Americans and the English settlers worked together? Well, it's true. Okay, in 1620, a group of people came over on the Mayflower and they landed in Plymouth, right, the area of New England, and this was home to a Native American group called the Wampanoag. And these people, the Wampanoags, had been there for 12,000 years. So it's really important that we don't forget that history did not start when the first English settlers or the first European settlers came to the United States, or what would become the United States, right? There's a rich history for thousands of years before they showed up. And in fact, when they showed up, 2 of them already spoke English. So what does that tell you? They weren't the first ones here, right? The Wampanoags had been interacting with Europeans for 100 years, 100 years before they came. And so 2 of them spoke English, and the chief, the elder of the tribe at that time, decided it would be good to build an alliance with these newcomers. There were conflicts in the region between other Native American tribes, and so he thought that, hey, if we join with them and we teach them some things so that they don't die in their first year, they'll become great allies and we'll be able to protect ourselves. Okay, so this Wampanoag tribe had been faced with a lot of conflicts, including some disease, and their numbers were down. And so one way to increase the numbers is to welcome these folks in and teach them how to survive. Okay, so the story of them helping them plant crops and introducing them to new crops and new ways to build houses and things like that, or shelters and different items for survival, that's all true. Okay, the story of a big bountiful feast probably isn't true. The idea that the Europeans came and gave something to the Native Americans probably isn't true. And in fact, within 50 years, this alliance that they had made fell apart and it fell into a bloody conflict. Okay, and so the Europeans, more and more of them started to show, and the Native Americans were pushed out of what had been their land for 10 to 12,000 years. That's a long time. Okay, so where did the story of Thanksgiving and this perfect harmony come from? Well, around the American Revolution, around 1760 or thereabouts, the people of New England were losing their clout. They were losing their power in the colonies, and so they wanted to say, hey, we're really important. It's not just Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Boston, Massachusetts, Virginia, and some of the other colonies. We're important too, right? And so to do that, what did they do? They made this image. We're the first ones here, right? We were the first ones here. We settled it. You owe us, that type of thing. And so this beautiful imagery starts to come out of that period. And it is a good story, right? It's not all true, right? So is that when we started celebrating Thanksgiving? No, it didn't officially happen until the Civil War. Can you think of a weirder time to start the Thanksgiving holiday than the Civil War? I guess it's probably the most important time, right? Your country's fallen apart, and the president at that time wanted to reunite them and show them, hey, yes, the world is falling apart around you. There's war all around you. But there are some things to be thankful for. And if we all realize that, some good will come out of this time. And that president was Abraham Lincoln, as you know. And so in 1863, right in the middle of the Civil War, he makes it a national holiday where we are supposed to give thanks for the great bounty that we have each year. And I think that this year was a difficult year, but I also think there are some things that we have to be thankful for. And one of the things I'm thankful for is the great community and these great scholars. And in that great community of scholars, we're telling you, hey, let's look at these different times in history, and let's look at it like a philosopher. Let's look for the truth. And although there may be some myths to make the story a little bit better, there is some truth there. And when you think of Thanksgiving, do you think the history that you've learned, does it tell all the viewpoints? If not, then you should probably look for those viewpoints. Okay? That's why we're studying things like the first Thanksgiving. Now, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a good time in distance learning. We're going to celebrate November's torch tickets. All right. We'll see you in 1 second. Okay. Torch ticket winners. All right. I have my list of winners here. We had 269 torch tickets in the month of November, which is not too bad considering one of the weeks of the month we didn't have school. So although it's a little bit lower than October and September, it's still pretty high, right? Okay, we have 8 winners. 8 winners. You might be saying, well, we have more than that many advisories. We do. Start working. Get some torch tickets, okay? All right, new this month, Target gift cards. We're giving out 2 Target gift cards and 1 Starbucks, okay? We also have some jeans days in there when you come back, or if you want to use them at home, I'm okay with that too. We've got some books from Jensen, and we've got 1 lunch with a teacher. Now remember, if you pick the right teacher, like I might buy you lunch no matter what you want because I might like to eat a lot of food, okay? And then that gives me an excuse to eat junk food. Okay, so here are the winners. Here's the hat with the stuff that you're going to win. I'm going to pull it out of the hat, and we're going to mark it down. Here we go, starting with Miss Anastasievsky's class. The winner is Cameron, and Cameron gets Target card. First Target card is Cameron, Target. Next up is Mr. Cathers, and Mr. Cathers had Eleanor. Eleanor, you win. So excited. A Jeans Day. Eleanor, save that. Jeans Day coming back. Okay, don't let me forget. I got to do the Oreos too. Next up, Hoffman. Hoffman had a winner named Nathan. Nathan, you win. Starbies. You win the Starbies card. Good job, Nathan. Next up, Mr. Krieger. Can you believe it? It's Owen Shaw. Hi, Owen. How you doing? Okay, let's see what Owen wins. I hope it's a book. He loves little books. Target. Good job, Owen. Proud of you, buddy. All right, next up in Mr. Lamprecht's sixth grade, we've got Valerie. Valerie Carrillo, what did you win? One free book. Jensen, let her have a book, okay? Next up is Mr. Mulder. Mr. Mulder had Ethan. Ethan, are you excited? I'm excited for you. Let's see what you want. The other book. You win a book, Ethan. Okay, talk to Miss Jensen. She'll get you a book. We got two left. Mr. Plog, Salman. Salman, congratulations. What did you win? Jeans Day. Keep it. When you come back, wear jeans. It's going to be awesome. And then that leaves one more prize, and the prize is lunch with a teacher. Food. Lunch with a teacher goes to Miss Wichterman's choice, which was Aubrey. Aubrey, you get lunch with a teacher when you get back, or you can do it virtually, but that's not as tasty. Okay, congratulations. Now the Oreo winners. We're not going to buy the Oreos yet. We don't know, okay. They have a long shelf life, but let's wait till they get back. So advisors, if you're one of these that got the whole group prize of Oreos, let us know when we come back to full or hybrid learning, and we'll get some Oreos for you, okay? With 82 torch tickets in the month of November, Mr. Plog's B group. And with 70 torch tickets in the month of November, Mr. Lamprecht's A group. Okay, so get those torch tickets out there. If you're not getting a lot of torch tickets, maybe you want to remind your teacher that you're doing stuff that is worthy of a torch ticket and get it in there. Okay, take care. See you later.